Hi, welcome back to Into the Cina-Verse. My name is Luca,
And my name is Nick.
and today we're going to review Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Hi, as I said in the opening sequence, today we're going to review Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. It's going to be a rather long video. We're going to divide into two parts because there's so much things
Yeah.
to talk about. So in this part, we're mainly going to focus on the movie review as a story. We're going to talk about Sam Raimi. We're going to talk about the horror aspect of this movie. We're going to talk about the characters and what we thought about them. We've got our pops. So we have Doctor Strange, we have Professor X, we have Mr. Fantastic. Okay, Deadpool didn't appear in this film.
Was going
I
to.
really
think.
hope that he was going to appear in this film. That's why I got Mr. Deadpool right over here. So let's dive into the story review. And first off, the plot.
Yeah.
What do you think of the plot?
The plot of Doctor Strange. After No Way Home, we had expectations about what the plot might be. It took a dive that I did not expect. I thought that we were going to see this new style villain that we never saw before, and that we see multiple Doctor Strange fight with together. And I was hoping that Supreme Doctor Strange was going to be like the big bad guy, but
Right.
it wasn't. It was something totally different. Scarlet Witch was the villain that I never expected to be. And I think her motivation her motivation was, I think, valid. I could feel her pain. Obviously, we saw her pain in WandaVision. It was mostly towards Vision, but now it's towards the kids, which I think not a lot of movies that have bad guys have that motivation towards kids, towards their own kids, or towards wanting kids.
The point that it's based on love.
It's based
In a
on
way.
love, but it's films, they base the love towards a spouse, a husband, but now it's towards their own children. And we don't usually see this kind of love towards their own children, in the sense that we don't see bad guys. Like how many bad guys do you see that they sympathize for their own children? Not a
Not
lot.
much. So
Not much.
the point that you're making is that her whole motivation is based on her kids, and we never saw that in a villain.
We never saw, especially in a Marvel.
No.
Okay, we never saw, like, I would say I never saw a villain base their motivation on their own kids,
Because-
or wanting to have children, that house Wanda wanted, which was touching because it's something that we don't see a lot in villains.
Because she's practically, in a way, the opposite. Although she was the antagonist in the film, she was in a way the opposite of Thanos. Because
Yes.
she used the Darkhold. She went over to the dark side, if I'm able to make a Star Wars reference. And but all of that was done to get her kids, because she loved her kids. She
Yeah.
wanted to be a mother. If we compare that, as in, we can contrast it to what Thanos did, because Thanos loved Gamora, but he ended up killing her in
Exactly.
Infinite War because he wanted the Soul Stone more.
So that's what I'm trying to say, that Thanos is the typical villain that we mostly
Right.
see everywhere. Wanda was the opposite. Wanda was someone who didn't want to conquer. Okay, at the end you might have seen that she felt like, once she understood what Scarlet Witch was, when she went to the temple, she felt like she needs to conquer this world. But it wasn't the fact that she wanted to conquer the world. She wanted the fact to control her life to become a mother, sort of.
It wasn't about domination for her.
It wasn't about domination
like
for-
what Thanos wanted to
No,
do.
no, exactly.
Or every other villain wants to do.
So it's something that I think brought something new to what a villain can be.
It brought a sense of humanity to evil, kind of, which is weird.
And even though it was a simple plot, it wasn't something so complicated.
Yeah, because
that-
everyone thought it was going to be this complicated thing.
A
First off,
huge
from the
thing.
title, because it's called Multiverse of Madness. When you're dealing with things, as I said, with things of the multiverse, and you're going to introduce such a huge concept,
As a
and you
multiverse.
have a 2-hour, 30-minute runtime, you know, I think everyone expected for Doctor Strange to stay crossing different universes and come across different characters.
Technically, he did.
The main universe which shared the plot was Earth 838. That was, I think, them trying to introduce more of the multiverse in such a small and little confined time span. So at least we know, listen, that there are several other universes out there. So let's move on to the horror genre, which I think it was everyone knew from the beginning when Multiverse of Madness was being produced that it was going to be a horror film. It was going to be Marvel's first ever horror film, and I think it got confirmed when they confirmed that Sam Raimi was going to direct it. It was a PG-13 horror film.
Yeah,
you
so
can't
it's not a
go full Conjuring.
Yeah.
There were a lot of creepy moments.
I think the most horror scene I remember is when that scene where Wanda is walking like a zombie kind. And the killing of the Illuminati, that was a bit gory.
It was a little bit gory.
Like
it was very realistic of how they died. That's the thing.
Yeah,
because they died. Their own powers weren't against them. Black Bolts went against his own Mr. Fantastic. Captain Carter, her shield cut her in half. Like, for me, the most like, okay, we're in a horror movie now, is when they're in the Sanctum Sanctorum and Wanda is chasing them, and they start covering up the reflections. So she can't get through, and she goes through the gong, or I don't know what
which
it
is a
was.
reference to The Ring.
And she comes out all like weird. I'm not going
if you watch The Ring, you know how.
If you watch Doctor Strange in general, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't watched Doctor Strange yet, what the hell are you doing here? And go watch Doctor Strange, right? There were also others like what dreamwalking is. So they got in the picture. If we can try and find a picture of this and we upload it, the better to explain it. But practically the scene is, so when Wanda's in the middle.
And with the candles around her.
With the candles around her. And she's floating. But then at the sides, they get Doctor Strange and America Chavez.
Yeah.
There's a kind of horror-esque score going around the scene. It was very, I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen scenes of this film.
Okay.
Rosemary's Baby. Sam Raimi, he got a lot of influence from other horror films apart from his own, and he implemented them into Doctor Strange in a PG-13 way, where I've heard comments like, how did they rate this PG-13? My kid was scared. I was even more scared. Like, what? Like, okay, I understand you're a kid, but you, come on, you're
adults, grow up.
Like, what are you scared of?
As in, if you show them Conjuring, I understand.
Even I watched Conjuring and I was scared. Imagine a kid, but this
like,
is Doctor Strange. Like, come on, you're a kid, I understand, but you, as in, come on. It was a very good part on Marvel to get Sam Raimi as a director, because they wanted to put in the horror genre into the MCU, and 2, to bring Sam Raimi back into Marvel in general, because we all know what a good job he did.
I was going to say,
Spider-Man.
like, our next topic is Sam Raimi, and I was going to say, like, the Marvel universe sort of not the MCU, but Marvel in general started with Sam Raimi.
Right.
He did the Spider-Man 1, Tobey Maguire
Technically, it
Spider-Man.
began with X-Men.
But I think it got most famous.
Yeah,
Marvel
Spider-Man
from
changed
Spider-Man.
the superhero film.
Exactly. It's like saying Tony Stark changed the MCU, kind of.
He began
He
the
began
MCU.
the MCU.
They
whole
revolutionized
superhero films.
superhero films.
But yeah, I think Sam Raimi was a good choice for this film.
Moving on to likes and dislikes. What did you like about the movie? What didn't you like?
The only thing I had a complaint about the film, I felt it was a bit rushed. When I told my friends that I found it a bit rushed, they said no, it's quite a good pace. But I did feel like it was like action. Now, I understand they were like, but if they slow it down, they're going to drag it and it's going to get boring. I'm not saying drag it. I'm just saying, just give that small time, the small pause, even like 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes, where you can process the whole story going on. On the other hand, likes, I think as a tone of the film was brilliant. I think we can see that Marvel films have changed a lot since Tony Stark, and you can even go back to Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. The tone has changed, and I think it has changed for the good. It has a more feel to it, I would say, that you can connect with them now more than it was before. I think the best moment for me was when the two Doctor Stranges were fighting with notes and staves and like a piano, like they would hit the piano, sound would come out, notes will appear, and they like start using them as throwing knives. It was like, this is random, but I am like it. I am with this.
What I liked about the film is, apart, okay, we already mentioned the horror aspect of it.
Yeah.
And I think with a character like Doctor Strange, you can get away with it. Because Doctor Strange has a variety of horror-esque villains in his rogues gallery. And I think we're still yet to see them, practically, because, again, Scarlet Witch was the villain in this film. Practically what I liked about it, again, as I mentioned before, apart from the horror aspect of it, is it's different. We're getting a variety of different Marvel films. And through Doctor Strange, we're seeing an introduction into so many different characters, into so many different, in this case of the film, the Multiverse of Madness, we're getting introduced into so many different universes within the MCU. It's a gateway, literally, into the multiverse. What I didn't like about the film is there's only one scene that I felt a little bit rushed. Apart from that, for me, it was great. It's actually when Doctor Strange goes to recruit Wanda to help him. It turned more quickly than I assumed it was going to turn. It felt a little bit rushed. I would have preferred, now this is just me, maybe like there are others who don't agree with me, and that's fine. I would have preferred that there would have been this team up between Doctor Strange and Wanda. Later on, they find out that she is in fact the Scarlet Witch. They know what a Scarlet Witch is capable of. And then her true colors are revealed, that she is actually after America. And that there would have been that kind of twist.
Yeah, I think that would have been better, yeah, true.
The thing that I didn't like about this film is, it's not really the fault of the film or anyone who had any production with the film.
Okay.
It's the fan theories that went into the film, the hype that we were not promised, that we were told that there were going to be so many different cameos in this film.
Oh, there was none.
There weren't many. Deadpool was rumored to appear, Magneto was rumored to appear, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
What I didn't like is how fast they cut the Illuminati off.
Yeah.
It was literally one scene. We see them for one scene and boom, they're all dead.
And let's move on to the characters. First of all, obviously, Doctor Strange.
To be honest, I don't really have that much to say about Doctor Strange. I didn't feel that his character developed that much throughout the film. Beginning to end, he sort of stayed the same.
He does. As a character, there isn't much of an evolution.
Yeah.
Can do.
The most that we see evolution is that one, now he has the third eye.
Yeah.
At the end.
That's the point, that he's using dark magic like his predecessor did, the Ancient One. She used dark magic from the dark dimension, but she used it in a positive way.
What did you think about Doctor Strange?
No, I think no, I don't think he was sidelined. I get that they needed to make a little emphasis on Wanda because it continued straight after WandaVision.
Yeah.
The thing is with the MCU now is that, okay, the title, for example, this film, yeah, Doctor Strange, it's a Doctor Strange film, but the MCU, how it's going on about it is that they're involving so many other characters into one film. So the main character, he's going to share the spotlight a little bit with other major characters. So in this case, with Wanda, it still felt like a Doctor Strange film. But the thing is that the MCU, Marvel, are intertwining every storyline together. So within a film, even if you have, like, for example, as I said, in this case, Doctor Strange, he's still going to share the spotlight with other major characters. The style of how you do a superhero film has changed. Even like in comics, there are so many crossovers in comics. And as I said, in the animated shows as well. Why not do that in the film? Wanda, Scarlet Witch.
Her character developed, she passed through a lot. And then at the end, there was this realization. I don't think she's dead.
No, I don't think so.
I don't believe. It looked like she died.
When it was all crumbling down. Not the close-up on her, when it was all the rocks were falling on her. When there was that shot when, like, the whole temple was falling down off the cliff. At a certain point, there was a flash of red.
I didn't see that, but if you saw that, she's not dead.
A character like Scarlet Witch, as powerful as Scarlet Witch, she's not going to die like that. America Chavez. Let's talk. Did you know about her before the film?
No. She's new to me. I didn't know about her.
She's in the comics.
We don't see that much of her background. We do see parts of it with her mother and how mothers
specific
yeah, with her mothers, and assuming that they are dead, but I don't believe
don't think so.
No, but she thinks that she
obviously she thinks so.
She was quite I would say a small passive kind of character. Like, she's there, she's doing her stuff, but she's a bit on the background.
She has to be, because she's a new character. But the point is, and this is what we were talking about, when you need, okay, Doctor Strange is a solo character of this film, but we need other characters to help the film move along. Multiverse of Madness. What character do we know that can travel through the multiverse? It's America Chavez. And they did it brilliantly. They cast well. I liked her as America Chavez. She was very funny.
Yeah,
she was a kid. She was a kid with all that power. Like, Jesus.
It's like a kid's dream.
She's actually the first LGBT character in the MCU. They didn't go far off from what America Chavez is in the comics to the films. She's practically the same person. So, the Illuminati.
Okay, so the first time I didn't notice this, but I read this. The first time that we see the Illuminati, it's a reference to Tony Stark's Iron Man 2, where he has
the app on his phone.
He has the app on his phone, and that's the only time I ever heard of them. I never knew who the Illuminati was, who they were. I felt they were a council. It was like a council.
No, because that's the thing. They are a council. Every member of the Illuminati is actually the leader of their own group. They're like the ultimate council, kind of.
Okay. I felt like it was like that. Okay, I'm dumb when it comes to these things. So
you're making like a dream team, kind of.
But
which is really sad, because they died in 5 minutes.
Yeah, they did a good job with introducing them, I feel.
Yeah. So practically the Illuminati, as I said, they're the leaders of their own individual teams. So in this case, okay, so you have Black Bolt, he's the leader of the Inhumans. There was a series. Black Bolt, he's the leader of the Inhumans. And then in this case, we had Mordo, who was the substitute to Doctor Strange. Captain Carter. Now, Captain Carter, so we saw her first in What If, right? But she's not actually part of the original Illuminati in the comics, and neither is Captain America. They said that she's the leader of the Avengers in Doctor Strange. Now, in the comics, Iron Man is actually part of the Illuminati because he is the leader of the Avengers.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel is also not part of the original Illuminati. They put her in instead of Black Panther. The original members are Black Bolt, leader of the Inhumans, Iron Man, leader of the Avengers, Doctor Strange as Sorcerer Supreme, Reed Richards, leader of the Fantastic Four, Namor, King of Atlantis, and Professor X, leader of the X-Men. Now, they brought in different characters. They didn't want to bring Namor in because he's probably going to appear in Black Panther in Wakanda Forever, and they want to introduce Namor in that film. So they didn't want to introduce him as a little bit of a side character in this film. Obviously went into Mr. Fantastic and Professor X. Professor X, like, everyone knew he was going to appear. In a way, from the trailer, everyone knew it was Patrick Stewart. I wasn't expecting Reed Richards. He was a fan cast. John Krasinski is the fan cast for Reed Richards. That's who the people wanted. So yeah, and Professor X. And Professor X, this is the thing. He was the Professor X from the 90s animated series. Yeah. Because he had the same suit.
Yeah,
he had the yellow. He didn't have the wheelchair. It was like a hover chair.
Best character of the film, Wong, Sorcerer Supreme.
On a technicality. Because Doctor Strange was away for 5 years.
No, I still want Wong to be Sorcerer Supreme. I love Wong.
Everyone loves Wong.
He's that like type of character that he's not a main. You don't see him everywhere, but when you see him, it's like
there's this ongoing joke in the MCU right now that it's not going to be called the MCU anymore. It's going to be called the Wongverse.
I like it. I like this
because he's appearing in everything. Said to appear in the upcoming She-Hulk series.
Oh wow!
Because there's going to be Abomination in that series, and he was fighting Abomination in Shang-Chi.
Alright.
So they're saying that he's going to appear to explain why he's with Abomination.
Wong, I can't get enough of Wong. He's a character that you will enjoy in whatever scene or in whatever film. That yes, he's not a main character, but he's an enjoyable character. He's like, if you know Lord of the Rings, he's like the Sam in Lord of the Rings. No. Who knows Lord of the Rings, you know what I'm saying. He's like sort of Ned. The Ned in Spider-Man.
This is the second time we're comparing a character to Ned. In the previous episode on Sonic, we compared Tails to Ned.
He's that sort of character that you can enjoy just watching. Even if just chilling, eating breakfast.
He's a serious character.
He is serious.
But he's also a very funny character.
I think that's what's funny. His seriousness is in a funny way.
There are moments when, because you see the banter between him and Doctor Strange.
Oh yes.
They're best buds.
Yes.
Christine, we're not going to talk a lot about Christine. The point is, okay, this is the fact, right? Every Doctor Strange in every universe has a Christine.
Okay,
And all of them fudged it up. When Doctor Strange is talking to Earth, I think it's Earth 838.
You know what we're talking about.
Yeah. Earth 616, Doctor Strange asks Earth 838's Christine. Jesus.
This is getting confusing now.
What Earth 838's Doctor Strange, how did they got along with the relationship? And Christine told him, no, he fudged it up. But it was fun. Rachel McAdams, it was fun having her back.
She wasn't essential. I wouldn't say she was essential.
No, but she was a nice add. She was a nice add.
She's like the sprinkles on a muffin. You don't need it, but it's nice to have it. I'm not putting the character down. I'm not saying like, listen,
No, it's not that. It was a weird analogy, mate.
I don't know. I thought about muffins.
You put sprinkles on cupcakes.
Muffins and cupcakes are the same thing.
No, they're not.
I say they are the same.
No, they're not. Muffins have a filling, right?
Cake.
Cupcakes are plain or have a flavor and have icing on them.
Technically, a muffin and a cupcake is a small cake.
No, we're not talking about this now. That's another video. We're not talking about this now.
We make a muffin.
Cupcakes and cakes are different. Don't tell me, like, for example, a burger is a sandwich. It's not.
Technically,
It's not.
Sandwich is two bread with something in the middle. A burger is two bread with something in the middle. You can have like a steak sandwich. It's like literally the steak is beef, burger is beef. It's two sandwiches between, sauce and egg. Up to you. It's like a hot dog. Hot dog is literally a
Hot
sandwich.
dog is not. I quit. No, I don't quit. I don't have anywhere else to go. So yeah, Christine Palmer, fun addition. Rachel McAdams, loved her. Brilliant. Move on.
Okay, I think that's got to an end of the episode.
So that was a great conclusion to our first part. Please stick to our
Part 2.
Please listen to us talk about the Easter eggs and our future predictions in our second part of this review of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
And comment what you think about muffins, cupcakes, and cakes. Let him get triggered more. Trigger him. Comment, please. And subscribe.